Summer travel is in full swing. Millions hitting the road, catching a flight, or even taking to the sea. But for nearly 2,000 passengers on one summer cruise, their trip had an unexpected twist.
So I'm on the gay cruise that was denied entry into Turkey.
Patty Lapone writing, "I am shocked. The Atlantis cruise I am performing on."
Why are you shocked? I think Western people really need to stop this behavior. The fact that something is acceptable in your country doesn't mean other people have to comply. You know very well that Turkey, even though it's very secular, is a Muslim country. Egypt is a Muslim country. In the West, this is highly acceptable. There are no issues. You live in a fabulous life here in the West. Why don't you take these cruises to countries that are more tolerant or cultures that are more tolerant to homosexuals, right? That's not what you're doing. You know very well that these people have issues with this. You know, it's not a secret. Everybody knows this. Everybody knows it. Why are you trying to make a big deal out of something that the whole world knows? You know you're not supposed to go over there. You're never going to force these countries into submission. In my native Ghana, there's a bill passed in parliament that criminalizes this behavior. So a lot of countries, mostly conservative countries, are not on this liberalized timeline of letting go of all your cultures and your traditions in favor of other people's feelings. Just do it in countries that accept it. Don't force it on other places. Why are you shocked? This is not shocking. You wanted this in the spotlight to cause some outrage, and that is not going to happen. These people have lived for multiple centuries and have been very firm on their dislike for homosexuality. So why are you making this a big deal when you know damn sure well that in Egypt and in Turkey, this behavior or this lifestyle is not acceptable? Like, come on, this is the Middle East. People get thrown off windows. Now, I'm not condoning it, but it happens, okay? People die due to this behavior. So why are you going? What is the point in picking those particular places and labeling your cruise ship a gay cruise ship so with your pride flags, knowing very well that is provocative behavior? This was a provocation.
Next week has been banned from entering Turkey. A magnificent ship full of gay men and me, denied entry to Turkey simply because of who is on board. A 10-day gay-themed Mediterranean cruise on board the Scarlet Lady, the Virgin Voyage.
This was a gay-themed cruise. It was a gay-themed, which means people that were going on were specifically of that particular group. And then why did you choose a place in the world where homosexuality is seen as a sin and sometimes punishable by death? This was a provocation. This is why I don't feel sorry for these guys. You know, I understand tolerance, acceptance, minority groups, marginalized groups, but sometimes these people deserve what they get. You took this into a place where you know it's culturally unacceptable. You can't do that in the Middle East. You cannot do that in certain parts of Eastern Europe. You knew it. Why did you go? Okay. This was a provocation. I think this themed, they could have cruised around Europe, London. There's so many seas, even Asia, Southeast Asia, where they would have welcomed them and accepted them. But they chose Egypt, conservative and Muslim, and Turkey, conservative and Muslim, to provoke something so that this becomes mainstream. You're trying to force these things on countries that will never accept this. They will never accept it. Move on. Okay. You got your victories here in the West. You got victories in a lot of countries. Leave Africa and the Middle East out of this stuff. We're just not going to accept it. It's okay. I don't hate y'all. Enjoy your lives, enjoy your relationships, but there are certain parts of the world where you need to stay away, and you have to, out of respect for cultures.
Voyage's ship, chartered by Atlantis Events, turned away from an entire country. Turkish authorities saying it's because of behavior that does not align with the values and morals of their society. Passengers left confused by this sudden change of plans.
Were you surprised that Turkey wouldn't let you dock there?
It's surprising because we were on a similar cruise last year that started in Turkey. Something has obviously changed in the winds and the politics.
The cruise then chose a new port, Alexandria, Egypt. But passengers soon got this notice under their cabin doors, saying, "Early this morning, we were informed that Scarlet Lady has been denied entry into Egyptian waters. Turned away again."
We were 3 hours away from docking, and the captain called me and said, "I think we have a problem here." The harbor master had said, "You're not going to be able to come into Egypt and turn around."
We reached out to the Egyptian consulate but have not heard back. While Turkey and Egypt don't explicitly criminalize being gay or trans, vague morality laws against obscenity and indecency can indirectly target LGBTQ plus individuals. Still, gay-themed cruises have safely made trips to these countries in the past.
We were on the phone immediately with the tour operator who had spent thousands and thousands of dollars setting up buses, tour guides, lunches.
By refusing to allow almost 2,000 people to come in to ports in Turkey and in Egypt, they're saying we're perfectly fine with losing hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Turkey.
Yeah, what is wrong? It's just money. It's just money. See, you don't expect people to compromise their morals just because you're going to pay for something or you're going to spend some money. It's okay. You think about it. The amount of outrage this can cause for their local tourism and for the majority of people who are not LGBTQ, because there's a lot more people who are not, families that wouldn't want to be seeing this in that part of the world, that can cause more economic pain than some 2,000 people that chose to go to a place knowing damn sure well that this behavior is not acceptable. Now, in the rare cases where a previous ship was able to go, that is because those ships were not gay themed. So the authorities probably didn't pay attention to it. But this was a gay themed, which is specifically a gay cruise. And then they went to a place, two places, knowing sure, why did they go all the way to Egypt if they're not allowed in Turkey? They could have gone to Cyprus, it's right there, right? You could have gone to Greece, also right there. Why go all the way to Egypt? They wanted to go to a Muslim country. These guys were provocative. This was a provocative act. They were provoking something, and they got the response they deserved. Why are they saying they are shocked? Why are you shocked? Why are you leaving the real reason why this is not acceptable in that part of the world? It's religion first for a lot of Middle Eastern countries. And this behavior really has to stop. When Western people think that they can take whatever is acceptable here and send it off to other countries and force them into submission just because they have some dollars to spend, that's not good at all. That is so disrespectful. Go on your cruise in countries that accept or normalize this lifestyle, not in the Middle East and not in Africa.
Brought in more than $60 billion in revenue from tourism last year, and Egypt brought in more than $16 billion. And LGBTQ tourism in particular is a booming industry, projected to exceed $660 billion by 2033, according to a recent study. Experts say these countries could be hurting.
What is that study? See, that's the thing with the news. They don't cite it. These are liberal outlets. They don't cite it. 2033 is when they are projecting this. So that is a few years from now. So are you trying to tell me there's so many people that live this lifestyle? It's definitely not more than the people that, compared to straights or people that don't live a life telling people about their sexuality. I think those people have a lot more money to spend than a minority group, which is the LGBTQ community. It's not a whole lot of people, okay? In most countries, it's not even 1% of the population. It's a lot more in the West, but in a lot of countries, it's not. This thing of using money as a reason to accept this, and my dad always used to say, not all money is good money. And here's one of the examples where you can simply say, for those societies, this money is not good money, and they're just not going to accept it.
Their own economies by not embracing that.
It could have effects on future plans of other LGBT people. They want to travel to places where they will at least feel safe.
But the passengers on the Scarlet Lady
We're too gay to come spend a bunch of money in your country.
refusing to let this get them down.
For 7 to 10 days, we just get to be this uplifting community. We get to be ourselves. And that's what we really focused on.
And when Patti LuPone finally took the stage, she posted this note online with the caption, "A magnificent ship full of gay men and me."
This was all for the spotlight. I mean, you got your cruise. Go where you're accepted. Accept and respect people's cultures and people's countries and their rules. In the most conservative parts of the world, this is unacceptable. Everybody knows it. This is not a big deal. But they F around and they found out.